Oh, what's going on, everybody? Brandon from Escape the Rumors. You're still with us. Well, we are in sunny Florida in Clearwater, and we're revisiting the Exit Games. We're checking out their newest game, Pins and Needles Tattoo Parlor. So let's see what that's all about, because Servants of Sleight was amazing. And as you can see, there's plenty of parking right in front of the facility. Head on in, and we'll see what we have. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know what to expect when you get over here. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Brandon from Escape the Rumors. I am here with Josh and Tay from the Exit Games. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Probably not as warm as you guys are down there in Florida. What's the temperature like down there?
Well, I wish I knew. We are actually in North Carolina at the moment, but I think we're hitting 70 degrees today, which is so nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's still better than us. So yes, North Carolina and Florida, they have two locations. If you guys have not visited them yet, I highly suggest you do so at either one of them. Just a quick intro for those who have not seen my previous interview with you guys. How many games do you have available at each location?
Let's see. Well,
I think everyone knows in Florida, we have two games, Servants of Sleight and Pins and Needles. And then in Wilmington, we actually have two facilities in Wilmington. Our first location that we opened about 9 years ago, we have 3 current games that we offer there. And then our new facility, which is literally like a block around the corner, we have 2 games that are open right now, and we're working on a third, but we eventually hope to have 6 total games in that facility.
Oh, wow. So that second facility is the newer one, I'm assuming. You guys are starting to build up there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, speaking of their Florida location, we recently had a chance to visit them and play Pins and Needles, and we played Servants. I believe it was 3 years ago. Amazing. But Pins and Needles, we were a little bit skeptical when we went in there, because we were like, they took a long time to build this one. I hope the hype is really there. And then at the end of the game, I remember Cece and I looked at each other after 90 minutes. We were like, yeah, I understand why. Like, I totally get it. I can't describe the experience, but if you played games where you felt like you were part of a movie or you were playing a role in a movie, it definitely immerses you. It makes you feel like you are part of the script, and as it evolves, you're just going along with it. And it's great. I don't want to give away too many details. No spoilers here. The only details I'm going to give you guys who are watching this video right now is the creative inspiration behind this game, because I'm sure, like I said, it took a long time. It's 90 minutes long, so there's a lot of meat in that game. So guys, tell me, first, where did you get the idea from?
That's a tough one. People ask us this, and we try to really recall the exact moment that we remembered that we wanted this theme, but we knew that we wanted something that was more thriller focused. And originally we were thinking a horror adventure, and we were like, well, we only have 2 adventures. Let's not just jump straight into that just yet, so that we limit an audience. So we stuck with thriller, and everything that we do creatively, I think, stems from us selfishly designing as enthusiasts first, and games that we would want to play ourselves. And so I think we were really racking our brains to say, okay, what type of theme have we not personally seen or played before, and just kind of ripped through a whole bunch of environments and things like that until we stumbled on to a tattoo parlor. I couldn't tell you if it's because we were getting a tattoo and had sparked it in that moment or what it was, but once we said it out loud, we were like, yeah, that's what we want to do.
Well, it's funny because at the time that Pins was built, I hadn't had a tattoo before, so we were like, all right, we're just gonna give it our best shot at what we think a tattoo parlor would look like, or I guess one that we would have built if we were tattoo artists. So that's how we came up with it.
The funny thing about tattoos is that there is a lot of things you can do in terms of puzzling with tattoos. I mean, you know, it's artwork. I mean, there's hidden details in artwork. So to be honest, we've never played a tattoo themed game. I don't even know if there's one out there, but we have personally never played a tattoo themed game. So when we heard about it, when we interviewed you guys 3 years ago, I was like, huh, tattoo parlor. Okay. And then we were like, when is this game coming out?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes,
All right.
we appreciate everyone's patience. We do build pretty slow, I will say. Usually it is just these 4 hands right here, and then the help of my father-in-law, Josh's dad, Frankie. So we don't always work the quickest, but we have been trying to be better as far as prepping our design on paper before, actually starting a build, which I think will help us out.
Yeah, because pins, a lot of it too, as well as servants. A lot of times Tay and I like to build as we go. So, we'll come up with an environment, and then, we'll kind of get the walls, together, and then we'll start piecing together what type of items would be in that environment before we ever even like throw most of the puzzles together. We will have a lot of puzzles down on paper just from us like jotting down here and there, but it usually comes to life once you're like in the space and can really feel like the atmosphere start to come together.
Okay. Now, in comparison with servants, did you guys approach this differently in terms of creating the puzzles, or the set design or puzzles? Like, was there a different way that you approached it?
I would say it was a similar design, but I definitely felt that when it was servants, we were coming from North Carolina,
right.
Brand new, fresh market, like no skin in the game, just basically being like, we just want to build a really fun, great adventure that maybe we felt a little bit limited in our smaller space before. So I think we were more low key in servants. And then when it came to pins, I feel like we felt a big sense of pressure. And so we were very meticulous in that. But pins was more of like a curated chaos design as opposed to like a prim and proper design that is a little bit more seen in servants, I would say. But there was
as far as like, I think like the details, like the very fine, small details, just in general in pins, I think that's where we really wanted to like hit the nail on the head and just make sure like we didn't skip any minor detail. We really wanted groups to feel like they were consumed in the environment.
Right. And then we've talked off camera about this, but I wanted to ask you guys your personal opinion. For enthusiasts, is it doable as 2 people, or do you recommend like 3 people? Like, what is your suggestion for players, whether they're enthusiasts, beginners, or intermediate?
Yeah, I would definitely say we have a strong recommendation or advisory for a 3-player count for pins and needles, and it's not due to, I would say, the difficulty of the puzzles, but the sheer amount of puzzles to complete within your allotted time. Something for us that's really, really important is that we're offering you the best experience possible. We want you to be successful with every experience that you go in with us. We don't want to be like, oh, we have a 1% success rate. We really want you to see it all the way through and see this story unfold that you're a part of. So with groups of 2, if enthusiasts that are, super experienced, like we're a group of 2 enthusiasts that are experienced. So I would hope that somebody would let me play. So we can definitely accommodate that. We just kind of give you that advisory that, we recommend this, but if you really want to take it on, absolutely. And always, let them know too that you have an unlimited amount of assistance offered from our host. So we will definitely advise them to utilize that, because we also will never tell you the answer. We'll just advise you to, revisit a certain area or whatever it may be with your hint system.
It's also an experience where I think if you like do hit a wall in certain areas, you can make up for that in other areas while you're puzzle solving. But I mean, generally, like a good rule of thumb is if a group is, stalling for 10 minutes and haven't really, picked up on something, that's usually like a good time to ask in that experience in particular, just because of how much you do have to do in there.
Yeah, definitely pace yourself, players, because just when you think you're moving along pretty fast, there's still some stuff to come. So make sure you pace yourself. Give yourself a certain amount of time if you're getting stuck, and definitely do ask for help when needed, because I highly recommend seeing the whole thing through to the end. Like they said, they'll push you and nudge you, but yeah, you want to keep a good pace throughout the whole experience. All right, so now I see Josh has like a really cool logo on his T-shirt. I don't know if I should ask him about this this brand that he's wearing. Do you have any updates for for visitors in the future, or any fans for the exit games?
It's tough. So this shirt, I actually bought. I think it was a clothing store in Montreal, and I just saw it and absolutely loved the shirt. Not sure if that's how we got to our third game having the Chinese to-go box on there, but as far as our third game goes, I know we kind of briefly chatted with you about this. We just appreciate the patience for all of our guests down in Florida. Tay and I have had a lot of things that's been going on the last couple years as far as building out in our Wilmington facilities. Also mentioned we had a coffee shop that we opened as well, which has taken a lot of our time. So as far as the third game, we don't want to make any promises of a timeline of when it will come out. But if Tay and I are starting a build, it's probably going to take us a little bit. So we just hope people can give us some grace on the timeline for that.
We will always be transparent. It's like the second that we know, we will always let other people know, because we want a third adventure just as much as you guys do, and we like seriously cannot thank people enough to just give us this grace while we've been sorting through so many crazy, amazing things that have been happening in our lives.
Absolutely. Is there a name for this game?
There is, but it's a secret just because it needs to be workshopped. We always have a name for an adventure, and then we need to wait until it's like a complete walkthrough to see if it really matches what we come to at the end. Because like Josh explained, a lot of times we build as we go. So a lot of these initial concepts of an adventure end up changing, especially even right before an opening. So we need to see if it fits.
Got it. All right, guys, let me stop pressuring them. Back to pins. I just have one more question. What was the biggest obstacle that you guys faced while building it or creating it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Maybe when I think we got to a point, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we got to a point where we were about to end the build at a certain point, and one of us was like, I think we need to add this extra component to the game to keep it going, to where groups, you never really knew when the game was going to end or how far you were going to advance through the environments. And one environment in particular towards the end of the game, I think we're both extremely happy that we ended up adding, but at the beginning it was tough because we were like, we really need to add it, but we're also like, we need to end the game at some point. So I think how we incorporated it ended up working out great for it.
And we always get to this point in a build where we're like 90% of the way there, and we just kind of like hit this weird rut where we start like second guessing everything, and we're like, okay, like, is this actually going to be fun? Is this actually going to be cool? Like, and every task that should only take us like a couple hours just seems to take us like days on end, like physically. So I think we were in our heads a little bit at the end just because we knew the pressure. So we were scared to like, finally open it. But usually when that happens, we go off and take a day and play like 10 escape rooms. And then we come back and we're like, all right, we're ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's hard too, because, if you're building the experience for a year and you're in that space every single day, morning until night, eventually like the environment is no longer fresh for you. So when we're sitting in there and we're like, does it really like look cool? Like, are people going to react the way we want them to? So when we actually ended up, opening it and we're hearing feedback from people, I think we were super, super happy.
It was also our most physical build that we've ever done, like labor wise for us. And, as we kind of talked about before, like my father-in-law, Josh's dad, would always take lead on, teaching us how to build and doing these larger elements. And this was the first time that, we had a heavy, build from him as well. But the first time he was more directing us to be like, all right, y'all, like, you are the ones that are going to, do this. I'll kind of like coach you from afar type of deal. And so it was a really big learning curve, but one that we're super grateful for, because now it's only us. So it really helped.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, like I said, it's just the two of you and your dad, and you guys are just putting out really great quality work. And it does take time, especially when there's not that many people involved,
Mhm.
which I think also works out to your benefit because there's less chefs in the kitchen. You guys are really just putting your ideas on the table and collaborating what you have to try to put out something that you're both passionate about. Um, you mentioned like playing 10 games in one day. What is your number now? Do you guys, or average, like how many games have you played?
I think we just hit yesterday. I think we had like 408. We just played. We just got back from Nashville, so we played Ruins. We only had time for one. When we're with other friends, we have to drag them over to play. So
we were in Europe last year for the honeymoon though, and we played a lot on that trip. So we got to play some really, really cool games out there.
We were very blessed this summer with amazing experiences. So we do not take that for granted.
All right, well, now I got to ask, what is one that stood out for you? Preferably the name of the company and the game. Could be anywhere in the world. Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you anywhere in the world and then one local.
Okay. Ooh.
You probably played everything in Florida, but it could be a new game that came out.
Honestly, there are still a lot of games because we've been spending a bit more time in North Carolina. There are still a lot of games that we have left to play in Florida, which is super exciting. When we were in Europe, we played so many amazing games. I think one that stood out that was pretty different. I mean, we played the Dome, we played Molly's game, we played all the big boys, and all of them absolutely lived up to the hype. As far as like horror adventures go, at Escape Stories, we loved like the fear element of playing Asylum of Fear, and what was the
there was one in Belgium by Gouden, Kooi, I think, but it's Hans Revenge. I don't know, like me personally, inside that experience, like I just thought it was so unique. Just the sets, the puzzle flow, like the story in general. Like I was like, this is chef's kiss.
One I do want to also shout out is the movies at Push Mystery.
Push Mystery movie.
Push, just it was one of those things where like, when we play rooms, like we have some friends that literally like will rate their games on like a technical level of like what they rate each thing to be. And then there's just games that you walk out of that just like make you feel good. And that's what always sticks with me. And that was one of those adventures, just like the hospitality, the overall experience start to finish when you're entering into this facility really stuck out to me. And it was a really big highlight of the trip. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have Push Mystery Rooms, or I don't know the correct title, but I know the company.
Yes.
And then the Gouden, the Cool, which game did you say that stood out for you there?
Hans Revenge.
Hans Revenge. Well, shout out to those two companies overseas. What about local? Is there any? If you were to say, I played a game local in Florida that really stood out for me, you guys should check it out. What would that be?
Ooh, let's see. I mean, everybody knows.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of good ones in Florida.
Yeah. Everybody knows we're really great friends with Derek and CJ over at the Escape Ventures. So I hate to sound biased, but they do have, some really awesome games at both facilities. But their newest one at Port Charlotte, those adventures are really fun. So, I loved Spirit Stalkers over there is a really great one. But there's still so many adventures that we have left to play in the Orlando area that we're really looking forward to. And then over in the Carolinas, I would love to give a shout out to Will and Kim over at Escape Artists. Those guys are just absolutely crushing it. They're incredible. And I just feel like they're finally starting to get the global recognition that they deserve. And so I'm really excited to see those guys. And then a sleeper is Lock, Clock, and Peril in Sumter, South Carolina.
Yeah,
I really check them out.
Yeah, their games.
Which game at Lock, Clock, and Peril?
All of them
are fun.
Their teleporter trials was a lot of fun recently.
Yeah, and then teleporter was great. And then at Escape Artist Greenville, we still haven't played their newest game. I believe it's Fluff and Door.
Yeah, we haven't played it yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
There's so many out there, not enough time. Well, guys, actually, we just announced our Bullseye Award winners, and Pins and Needles was one of our award recipients. But please check out our website, EscapeTheRoomers.com, so you can see the award winners that are up there. And also, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. I really appreciate it. I know you're both very busy. Do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see more of these really cool interviews I get to have with really cool people behind the scenes, the owners, the creators, the developers, even managers sometimes, on how the business runs effectively, and any suggestions they might have for any future owners that are out there. But hey, I'm heading down to Florida. I won't be able to see you guys this time, but we are going to be visiting Escape Ventures and other companies as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah,
you'll have a blast.
Have so much fun.
Enjoy the
early weather. thousand escape room.
Yeah.
And
they said it. It's our 1,000. It's fine. Yes, but you don't know where. So stay tuned for that.
Don't know.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. You guys out there, keep escaping. Peace out.
2 hits left for me to use. 1 hit left for me to move. Time is running out. Gotta figure something out.